One of the many, hopefully, highlights of Pompey Sound's output and podcast library is the gentle but piercing tone of Steve Bone.
I wondered how you're going to describe them then.
I wasn't sure where it was. I wasn't sure where it was going either.
No, best not to plan.
We could start on the field, or we could start off the field. Your call.
Yeah, let's start on the field, shall we? I always think that's what we're here for, isn't it? That's kind of at the end of the day the most important thing.
Agreed. You made it to Derby?
Yes. Went to the Derby game, sadly.
I was going to say, and?
It wasn't memorable, was it? It was... I think we went into that game feeling under a bit of pressure because of having lost to Swansea in the previous game and given away the late goal against Blackburn in the game before that. And I thought the pressure sort of got to us a little bit, actually. I thought when Derby scored that early goal, when their man was given too much time to take a touch and shoot on the edge of the area after the corner was headed out, I just didn't. I don't think many people in the ground really felt there was much chance we were going to get back in and get back into it. We're just not scoring goals, are we? Or not scoring enough goals.
You're absolutely right.
It was, we had a lot of possession, played some neat football, got the ball forward, but never really didn't work the keeper at all, did we? I don't think the keeper made a serious save, and it's worrying.
It is. He just had to bend down and pick the ball up at his feet. So feeble were our efforts.
Yeah, we had a couple of headers, didn't we, that sort of bounced through to him. It was the pressure's on, really, isn't it? Now I think when you've only taken 1 point from 5 games and you're in the position we're in, people are worried that you've got the wrong form at the wrong time.
Yeah, I do think surviving relegation battles, I hope you may or may not agree with me, surviving relegation battles is very much about momentum.
It is, yeah. You've got to hope to get the momentum at the right time, which we still might do.
Mm-hmm.
We got 9 games left. I think we need 3 wins, and that will be enough. But we were saying that 3 or 4 games ago. We were saying we needed 3 or 4 wins from the last 13, 14. And we haven't got any of them yet. We haven't won since Millwall, which is now a month ago on Saturday. Well, as I say, 1 point for those 5 games. Other teams are picking. I think what added to the pressure on Monday was that between the Swansea game and the Derby game, all of those other 4 teams down at the bottom had won a game. West Brom, Oxford, Blackburn and Leicester had all chalked up a win in the intervening time. So that didn't sort of help ease things for us. And you've now got, I think you've got the 5 clubs, ourselves and those 4 separated by 4 points, and you've got a gap of 6 points going up to Charlton, and you kind of think that probably anyone who's on 48 or more at this stage is okay.
Yeah,
they'd be unlucky to get sucked into it now. So you are looking at 2 of those 5. 2 from ourselves, Oxford, Blackburn, West Brom, Leicester, going down with Sheffield Wednesday, which makes it a little mini league that we have to finish in the top 3 of.
Yes, and of those 5 sides, we did a bit of research. We've got 2 6-pointers, and apart from the 6-pointers that the opposition have got with us, one of which is Oxford, and I think it's Leicester as well we've got, of all the other clubs, there's only 1 6-pointer not involving us.
Right.
Whether that counts for anything or not, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I know a couple of them have still got to play Sheffield Wednesday, haven't they?
Yeah.
Which you would think would be 3 points for them. It's not guaranteed, but it's likely. And I think, in fact, West Brom's last game is against Sheffield Wednesday. So
it's definitely one of them. It's either West Brom or Blackburn. I think you're right. You're right. It's West Brom. Yeah.
So if it comes down to all the clubs needing a win on the last day, that's going to give them a huge advantage, isn't it? They'll be confident going into it. So, yeah, we just need some points. We need some wins before then. We did it last year. We got the 2 wins over Easter against Norwich and Watford. Be lovely to do the same again. Obviously, we've got one game now before Easter. We've got QPR Saturday. Then come the 2 Easter games again. Again, it's Norwich away, but on this occasion Oxford at home, which looks a huge one. Yet another lunchtime kick-off for us. You just hope that we can get the points. I mean, I always divide it down into little groups of games, as you know, and so you can look at it and say we've got 3 groups of 3 games. We need to win 1 in each group, and if we can do a bit more than that, then we might be safe before the last day. So 1 win from QPR, Norwich and Oxford should be possible, shouldn't it? Because you would think Oxford, if we turn up and we've got our wits about us, we've got a couple of players back, might have Anderson, Dazal back, people like that by then. Hopefully Paul and Shaughnessy are still fit in the middle of defence. We should be able to beat Oxford. But, there's going to be some nervy moments along the way, I think.
Yeah. If we manage a goal early against QPR and go 1 up, the travelling faithful, and there'll be thousands of them, of course, they're incredible. We will hear them singing The Great Escape. We will hear them singing The Great Escape.
Oh yes, yes, that's right. I think we started to sing The Great Escape in December, didn't we?
I think you have heard it. Yeah.
It was quite early. It's a common tune around these parts.
When you go behind a goal after 8 minutes at home, there's 2 things the crowd can do, and the Fratton crowd are very good at this. As the ball is heading back towards the centre spot for kick-off, you hear the crowd go, "Come on, Pompey!" And they will, "Come on, let's do this. We've got a full 90 minutes ahead of us. Come on." Or there's this kind of, uh-oh. And I got a lot of uh-oh against Derby.
I think so. It was a bit quiet, wasn't it?
Wasn't it?
And it was kind of quiet for the whole game, really. There were moments where Pompey had a bit of pressure where the crowd were a bit louder, but generally it wasn't a sort of backs to the wall, Blue Army.
Well, people are hurting.
Do this sort of a response. Yeah, people are worried by the recent form and the lack of goals, aren't they? Standing
on Fratton Station after the game, it was jam-packed, of course, but there was a silence. Mainly men were gazing into the middle distance, stony-faced. There was that kind of atmosphere that you get at a funeral when the coffin has arrived and you've got to stop talking but just acknowledge that something you don't want to happen is happening.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like.
What to say or where to look, do they? Yeah. And it's understandable. I think our main problem is we've lost 4 home games in a row, and that is very rare for us. I think the last time we had a run like that at home was 2013, when we were heading towards League 2. We were in administration. We didn't know if we were going to last the season. And usually our home form is quite good. Even last season, where we didn't win at home until start of November, once we then did win at home, we went on a great run at home, didn't we? We won 11 or something, I think. 11 out of 16. And this season we had a little spell, sort of December, January, where we were quite good at home. We were winning some games and we were drawing the others. But since the start of Feb, it's all gone to pot at home, and you can see it you can see that the players are nervous, I think, playing at home, and that we have to turn that around before the next game. It's a good job our next 2 are away from home, in fact.
Now, that is a really good point. Do you want to expand on that? I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, I think sometimes when you're in a rut like we're in at the moment, and you've got your own fans on all 4 sides of the ground, you know that if you misplace a pass, if you slice a clearance, if you miss a good chance, you're going to be seen by thousands of eyes. There's going to be groans. There's going to be, at half time and full time there were boos, weren't there? So you're kind of half expecting that. whereas I think just away from home, generally speaking, we play with a bit more freedom. There's less expectation on you to win, and I think we've seen that in some of the away performances this season. Really, I know our away form isn't great, but I think there have been. I think you can see a different style sometimes, different approach.
Yes. Should say this is not to denigrate the Fratton faithful in any way, shape, at all. No. But we're only human, and we feel our disappointments. And if a promising move breaks down because somebody controls the ball badly, there will be there'll be that noise.
Yeah.
But you multiply that 18,000 times.
Yeah.
And the player just wants to dig a hole and jump in it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's bound to, as you say, human nature, isn't it? It's bound to affect players. The other side of it at home is if you on the front foot and you're knocking it around nicely and you're scoring goals and you're creating chances, the crowd are right behind you and it lifts you. So you've got to you take the rough with the smooth, don't you? But I just think away from home there'll still be decent numbers there at QPR and then at Norwich on Good Friday, but there will be, I think you'll see I don't think you'll see the same nervousness as we're seeing at home.
Very interesting theory. I'm going to be watching out for that. I like it. It's original. You're always original. And actually, I'm going to put you on the spot because you've got very good gut instincts. Good instincts. Good gut. I don't mean that.
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah. Do you think we can do it?
What, stay up?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I still think we will.
Good.
I've at no point this season have I thought we won't. Actually, I've kind of stayed confident all the way through. I think I started the season by saying we might finish mid-table, somewhere between 11th and 14th. Obviously, I've had to lower my sights there. But even in the spells where we've struggled for points and goals, I've always thought we've got enough about us to get over the line, and I still think that partly because of how we did it last season. We're on one of the smaller budgets in the division, but we've got a very good manager, got some good players in that squad, you've got some experience, you've got some players in there now who have got twice as much experience in the Championship because they're in their second season with us at this level, and I'm talking about people like Poole and Ogilvie and Pack and others, and I do think we'll do it. I don't know how we'll do it and I don't know when we'll do it, but I still think we'll stay up. I'm kind of thinking, I keep looking at that bottom of the table and thinking who will go down with Sheffield Wednesday, and a lot of people say West Brom are bound to get out of it, they're a big club, Leicester are bound to get out of it, they're a big club. I'm kind of thinking one of those two will go and one of Oxford or Blackburn will go as well. If you were to say which one of the two, I really don't know. It's hard to call because there are still some unpredictable results.
Why do I see Oxford as being a League One side, period?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, they kind of feel like a smaller club, don't they, than most of those in the Championship.
Funny little ground.
Yeah, 3 stands. Yeah, used to have 7 at their previous ground, of course, 7 stands at the Manor Ground, and they're talking about another new ground now, aren't they? So I still think of the Kassam as a new ground, but it's not really. It's been there about 20 years. Yeah, but they've given themselves a chance, haven't they? They were getting a little bit adrift of the rest of us, weren't they, a few weeks ago? But they've won 3 out of 4, I think. So they're right in there. They'll think they've got a great chance of staying up. But yeah, it wouldn't be a massive surprise to see them go down.
Who would you give the number 9 shirt against QPR?
Who would I give it to?
Yes, who would you start in the number 9 shirt?
You see, before the Derby game, and I know I wasn't on here last week, was I? But had I been, I would have been saying yes, probably after the Swansea game, where I thought Bishop had a hard time. He gave away a lot of fouls, and he didn't really look as though he was getting anywhere. I was saying, yeah, let's give Brown a chance as the main striker against Derby, and that's what happened. Didn't think he really took his chance very well. He didn't make much of an impression for me, and he actually in terms of his all-round play, I thought he offered less than you normally get from Bishop. So I think I would probably go back to Bishop as number 9 at QPR. But I would look at who the 3 behind him are quite carefully.
Go on.
Because you've got some selection options there. I don't think this will happen, and if it was going to happen, it probably would happen by now. But you know who I'd play as the sort of right winger in that 3 behind Bishop?
I don't. Tell us.
Terry Devlin. I'd push him. I'd push Devlin forward. I'd put Williams or Swanson in at right back. By the way, I thought just while we're talking about who might play across the back 4, I thought when Shaughnessy came on and Ogilvie went back to the left, I thought we just looked better balanced. We looked more confident playing it out from the back. There were a number of times where Shaughnessy got it from the keeper, played it to Ogilvie, and he was already on the halfway line and getting forward by that time.
Was he moving a little gingerly, or was that just my imagination? It's what I would do if I was him. I'd move gingerly. Did he?
I didn't spot that actually. I don't know. What? Sorry, Shaughnessy you're talking about?
Yes, I'm sorry, Shaughnessy. Once a week, Shaughnessy.
Yeah,
they're calling him.
He's not gonna play every game, is he? Which is a shame. He might have been. I'm hoping he'll be okay to start Saturday, having only played 20 minutes or whatever it was Monday. I mean, if he was moving a bit gingerly, it's probably, you can kind of understand it. He's had so many setbacks. He doesn't want to come back out there and run for a ball and then be out for another 3 months, does he? But I do think we're better side with him in there. We're better at the back. He's a threat from corners. I thought, when he came on, everybody said, well, that's our best chance for a goal now, getting him to head in a corner.
Yes.
And he didn't manage it. But sorry, going back to who I would play where, I would move Devlin forward by bringing in either Swanson or Williams at right back. I'd just like to see Devlin further forward. We know he can get forward and he can get the ball, and he likes to take on his man and get a cross in. Let's see him have a bit more freedom to do that on that right side, and just see if he can supply a couple for Bishop to knock in, which would then leave you, and I think, having seen a bit of Ali on the right, I think I prefer Ali on the left. I don't think that quite worked on the right. I thought he was quite involved on Monday night, and he covered a lot of ground. His the quality from his final action and his final ball I didn't think was great. So I think I'd put Ali back over onto the left, Devlin on the right. I've seen a suggestion, and I can't remember who it's from now, on social media. Is Caballero worth a try in the centre at number 10? Looking to pick up any balls that Bishop might flick on and he can run onto. So that's an interesting one.
Well, I mean, we wouldn't get bored if you were the Pompey manager, would we?
You wouldn't know who was playing where, would you? I'm not sure I can remember myself. But
I'm thinking hard about it, because you've covered the only concern I would have with this, which is that if you're Gus Caballero and you've come over from Santos, one of the great clubs, and you are displaced on the right, your favoured position, by a boy we got for loose change from Northern Ireland, and who's 10 years younger than you, it's a bit of a kick in the teeth. But these are challenging times, and perhaps we do need to think even further outside the box.
Yeah, got to do what's going to bring results at this time, haven't we? Got to not worry about upsetting a player or two by moving him or leaving him out. Caballero, after a really bright start and really did well at Charlton and Millwall, didn't he? Has faded a bit, and he has looked a bit lost at times. And I didn't think playing him on the left works particularly well. If I was going to play him on the wing, I think I'd put him back on the right. But I don't know, just wonder whether anyone else thinks Devlin is worth a try there.
It's an excellent talking point.
We've got other options at right back.
We'll get on to your thoughts about QPR in just a moment, but I know you've tooled yourself up on the stories that the very profound and occasionally prescient Neil Allen is propagating in the news, and some good journalism there about Pompey's general finances and
Yeah.
investments and the nature of the investments. I'm not an accountant. I know you're not an accountant.
No, certainly not.
But
No, far from
you've
it.
acquainted
Yeah.
yourself with the main
Yeah.
points. So
Yeah.
perhaps you'd like to delight your listener by just going through them one by one.
Yeah, and this will be a bit of an overview, really, because I don't understand the fine points of an accounts sheet, a balance sheet, and there's a lot of different elements to it that many people will understand better than I will. But obviously, we had the news that came out on Wednesday afternoon that Pompey posted losses of 4.3 million for what is effectively last season. We'll call it last season. It's sort of April to March, isn't it? I think the finance year. And I don't think anyone was too surprised at the figures. Basically, we made more money. We made more income in our first season in the Championship compared to our last season in League One, as you would expect. But equally, we made more losses because we were paying out a lot more, on the player budgets and everything else. So the bare figures weren't a surprise. What did raise quite a number of eyebrows was the revelation that Michael Eisner was now putting in money in the form of loans rather than equity. And given some of the problems we've had with past owners doing that and then deciding they didn't want to do it anymore and wanted their money back, that has caused some concern among fans, quite rightly. It would do, wouldn't it? Because if money is put in anywhere, put into any business as a loan rather than a gift or equity or whatever you want to call it, then there's that element of risk there. With you're sort of a little bit more beholden, or quite a lot more beholden, to the person who has put that money in. Will they want it back at some point, and so on and so forth. I've seen a couple of people reacting to this, and Neil has actually done a piece. There's a really good piece which I would urge people to read. It's on portsmouth.co.uk today, by Neil Allen, and he has spoken to Kieran Maguire, who many people know. I think his Twitter account is The Price of Football. He's a national expert on football club finances. He's often the first person that any media outlet will go to, TV, radio, newspapers will go to when a club's accounts are published. He knows how to read a balance sheet and analyse it and react to it. And he says he's told Neil that by the standards of the Championship as it is at the moment, Pompey's accounts are astoundingly good. And he goes on to say that it might sound crazy for me to say that about a business which has lost more than 80,000 a week over the course of the year, but in a industry or in a division where average losses are about 500,000 a week, for Pompey to have posted much smaller losses and still be in that league. Obviously, we don't know if we're going to be in it next season, but we're still there at the moment. He says that is an achievement, and he's also been asked about this business of Michael Eisner putting money forward in the form of loans, and he says that because he is the owner, that is nothing to worry about. And he makes a really good analogy. He says it's like the bank of mum and dad, which I thought was a very clever way of putting it. And he
very apt, isn't it, when you think the whole thing through?
Yeah. I'll just quote him in this piece that Neil's done in explaining that. He says, when our kid passed their driving test, and 2 or 3 months later they said to us, I don't want to drive mum's car, it's a Nissan Micra. There's you get the look and the pause in the conversation, and you know what's coming. They then say, will you lend me 15k to buy myself a car? Sorry, Barney's pitching in with his
very welcome
response to the accounts as well. And he says, they know that I'm dad, so I'll never ask for the money back, and I know that with student debt, ridiculous cost of rent and so on, they're permanently skint. So in theory it's a loan, but it's actually it's glorified equity. Your mum and dad are never going to ask for the money back. if they know you can't afford it. So he says that because Michael Eisner is the owner, he's not going to suddenly, what's in it for him to suddenly want some of that money back that he's put in. It doesn't. He said it wouldn't make any sense for him to want or need that. Obviously, Pompey fans will still then have the nagging doubt of, in years to come, if Michael Eisner passes the club on to his sons, they don't see it as something they want to do long term. What happens then? Then it becomes an issue, because you've got things propped up with loans that they might then want back at the point where they try to sell the club.
Yes.
So you can understand fans being worried about it, especially given our history of 10, 15 years ago, what happened with ADAMENT and some of the other people that followed. But it is quite encouraging to hear someone like Kieran Maguire say that Pompey's accounts are pretty good, given the cost of the industry that they're in and the level of football they're at. Everybody will have their own view on it, but it's good to hear different views from people in the know.
Yes, well done. I think you nailed that. And as you say, as a non-accountant, and no offence, but who'd want to be a nailed-on accountant? Anyway, and I don't think there are many of them in either the North or the South or the Milton or the Fratton on a Saturday afternoon. But there is. We do need them. What I want to ask you, though, from what you've said, is your friend Kieran Maguire 100% when he says, because Michael Eisner is the owner, then those loans are rock solid? Because I read a piece a week ago, and I probably misunderstood it, so therefore, in which he has transferred 75% of the share ownership of Pompey to his three sons, retained about 20-25% for himself, but crucially, he's the only board member who's allowed to vote.
Yes. Yeah, I don't really understand the ins and outs of that, but he's kept a slightly larger share. I think he's got 25.5%, and the three others have all got 23.5%. So that is probably significant. But yes, he's retained all the voting rights, and we're told that is to do with succession planning. That is to do with the handover.
He's putting his affairs in order, isn't he?
Yeah, seems like it, doesn't it? Yeah. So obviously there will come a time where his sons are the owners, effectively the owners of the football club, rather than him. And that you've seen it at other clubs, you've seen it in other businesses. That can change. Their priorities might well be different to his. Depends a lot on what happens to the club and how the club get on between now and when that happens, I suppose, in a way. If we can survive at this level and grow a little bit and have more ability to make our own money, then the club might remain a good thing for them to own. If we don't, and if at some point we go back down to League One and people get a bit restless and start to ask more questions and get a little bit angry, then the family might think otherwise, mightn't they? We don't know. You can't predict the future to that extent.
Well, I mean, you're a dad, I'm a dad. I want my children to have as good a chance of creating some wherewithal, so that at least the wolf doesn't spend too much time at the door.
Yeah.
If I could do that in the way that Michael Eisner can do that, then I would want my boys to have some kind of security, some kind of tenure in something that they like. Because I'm not sure whether the other aspects of Tornante's business proficiency is as appealing as owning a sports club.
No, it's quite an attractive thing to a lot of people, isn't it? Being able to own and run a sports club and have success, hopefully, through owning it, and be seen as the person who's brought about that success. Yeah, it's a little bit, it's higher profile, isn't it, than a lot of other things that you could spend that same amount of money on. other businesses and so on. So yeah, we'll have to hope that stability goes on. The other thing that you know, and it's related to it, the other thing that Michael Eisner has been talking about is that the level of losses that football clubs at all levels are suffering from can't go on. You know, it's unsustainable. And he's talking about the sort of numbers that you see in the Premier League. He's talking about the fact that every club in the Championship made a loss last season. You know, that's all very well while the individuals and the businesses owning them are happy with that, but it's not a long-term thing, is it? You know, why can't football be, if not completely sustainable, then more sustainable? And it, you know, he talks about the need for player wages to be more reasonable. He talks about the need for a more equal share of TV money and other money, which at the moment, as we know, vast amount of it, lion's share of it, goes to Premier League clubs. Not much goes further down the pyramid. So, yeah, some wider issues for football there as well to be considered, isn't there?
Absolutely, and thank you for that. I think you made a great fist of it. Well done. Appreciate it. On to matters where you have an even greater level of expertise. Predicting the QPR result.
Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, look, my last prediction on here was that we would draw 0-0 at Blackburn, which for 83 minutes looked good, didn't it?
Oh, I'd rescue the clip. I was going to lead the 5 o'clock bulletin with it.
Yeah, I was quite pleased with that for a while, and then Connor went and scored, and we said, no, never mind 0-0, we're going to win 1-0, and then of course we didn't. It was 1-1. So we ended up with what we thought we'd get, but we were disappointed. Only Pompey could do that. I'm going to go draw again at QPR.
That would be nice.
I think it would. It would end. You know, after 2 defeats, you just want to end that. You want to snap that little run, don't you? I think if we could get a draw, have to hope that some of the other teams around us don't pick up wins. We could be in the bottom 3 by the close of play Saturday.
Ouch.
And we've then got 13 days off to wait for the next game.
Yes.
So I think if we can get a draw, just starts to turn the tide a little bit. I'm going to go QPR 1, Pompey 1.
Steve, as ever, a million thanks.
Thank you.